Greetings, I am Pillar Nexus, the Ancient Gladiator today with Pillar Loves Tabletop games with Force of Will. This is a learn to play kit for demonstrating the game, which I might look into doing somewhere down the road. I think this is an interesting game, but let's actually go over it. So, in this game, you will have your ruler, which will be able to call magic stones, a deck of cards consisting of Resonators, which are your creatures that will go attack or block. Additions, which go into play and give you bonuses. And chants, which are played once and then discarded. At the start of the game, each player will have 4,000 life and a hand of 5 cards. And a random player will be decided for going first. So odd, even. Even. I'll go first. Whoever's going second, if you're playing with a ruler that has the energized ability, will get a special token that they can use later to banish it and get that will. There are 5 attributes that go into the costs for the cards that you play: light, dark, fire, water, and wind. So this ruler is wind, and this ruler is dark. After you draw your initial hand of 5, you have the option to take a number of cards and put them face down on the bottom of the deck to draw that many replacements from the top. You only get to do this once. So, starting with the first player's first turn, they go through the phases. The draw phase is skipped for the first player's first turn. Otherwise, that player will draw the top card of their deck. If they need to draw and it's empty, they lose the game. And then they recover. Anything that is currently rested will be recovered. And then there's the main phase. During the main phase, you can do the following: getting a magic stone from your magic stone deck requires you to use your ruler and rest them, which will then get you 1 magic stone off the top. If you're playing multiple colors, your multiple attributes, you're going to have to shuffle. You should probably shuffle just as procedure anyway. That stone is now available for your immediate use to put towards Resonators, Additions, Chants. So to pay the cost of a card, first we will need to look at the attributes in the will circle. So Flower Elf requires 1 wind. And then you'll need to look at the number, and that's how many you can use of any color. So with 1 wind, it's enough to enter into play. Let's say somewhere down the line, I wanted to play Elvish Archer. I would need to have at least 2 wind and then 3 of anything else. Resonators that come into play cannot attack unless they have swiftness. You can play the cards with your stone, and then once you play enough, or if you're waiting to decide whether or not to play something, the process, you might decide to declare battle. So it would have to go to their turn, then come back for her to be able to attack. So you must have a recovered resonator, and you can either directly attack someone's life points or attack a resonator that they might have in play that is rested. Regardless of whichever target you choose, if they have a better example, if they have a recovered resonator, they can choose to block, which will rest them as well. So there's attack on the left, defense on the right. They'll be simultaneous. So 400 to 1,000 is not going to be enough. 1,000 to 400 is going to be lethal. Anything that is discarded goes to the discard pile or the graveyard. But if they have nothing to protect their life points with, they will take that attack to their life. So go from 4,000 down to 3,600. Reducing an opponent's life points to 0 means you win. Finally, the last major thing you can do is Judgement. So each ruler will have a Judgement cost. For Bounty Hunter Christie, her Judgement cost is 2 wind and 2 of any. When you do the Judgement, first they have to be already recovered, and then once you pay the cost, they're flipped over. Get some very exceptional art. They will have new abilities to work with. So she's now Pursuer of Vampires Helsing. When she comes in, she can return a Resonator to its owner's hand. She also has Swiftness. So when she's available, she can immediately attack. Or if prospects are kind of grim, too many blockers, you might use her to get another stone anyway. You can still use your ruler to gather stones even when they're out in the field. However, be very careful. If your J ruler is destroyed, they return to their normal ruler side and they receive an astral counter, which means they can no longer do Judgement for the rest of the game. They can still call stones so that you're not completely screwed. So things that might also happen during the game is someone might play a chant on their turn, and you may have a quick cast chant or an activated ability that requires resting the resonator or addition to use it, and that will be called a chase. You'll resolve the newest played effect before the oldest. Basically, the stack for Magic. And that's basically it. The demo decks are smaller than the normal. Standard deck for the game is 10 to 20 Magic Stones and 40 to 60 regular cards. One of the nice things you can do to kind of mess with things a bit, is combine the two demo decks together to make a starter deck to have something to mess around with. If you want to make actual demo decks out of cards you might already have for the game, my recommendation is 5 to 10 magic stones and 20 to 30 other cards. And you probably want to use cards that are going to be straightforward, not super complicated. The kind of stuff you can expect to see in a usual game. Other things you'll probably need for the game, besides being able to keep track of your life and card sleeves, are tokens to keep track of energize and other things that might come up. I've had previous decks for the game. There's going to be times you're going to need to want to keep track of some really important things. So, why did I go out of my way to go for this demo set and want to try to teach the game again? First off, the game is still around, which is honestly surprising. How many card games have come and gone over the last 30 years? Magic is over 30 years old and it's still around. This game is over 10 years, but it's still going pretty strong. I think a good part of it is mechanically being able to have the resources separated from the rest of your stuff means that you're not completely screwed over. So one of the issues that comes up with Magic is you either get too many lands or not enough, or you don't get them in the right order of colors that you need, and you'll have to adjust on the fly. The other big appeal of this game is the artwork, because I see you VTuber crowd and anime fans. Yeah, even might even recognize some names, like the bottom next to the little pen, artist name, Black. I don't think my webcam does his work justice, but it's it is really impressive to see all the various artwork. Hell, even the stones look great. It's a very pretty game, and that's gonna be the other selling point. So there's some selling points right there. The resources are separate, so you can call them on on their own. The artwork is nice, and the gameplay is close enough to Magic, but still different enough that doing its own thing, it's worth checking out for those unique approaches. So there it is. That's Force of Will. If your local game store has this demo set, ask them if you can take a look, maybe check out the game. The the actual demo set itself comes with 3 copies each of the Darkness and Wind trial decks, and a copy each of the Quick Start Rules Guide, double-sided, the glossary and somewhat more comprehensive reference, and the ever so fun thing of I love when games do this too. When they just kind of include these. I love when they include these playmats. It just looks cool. Even has a little reminder of how the flow goes. It's not stupidly complicated. It's really not. Yeah, Force of Will, going strong for over 10 years. Ask for it at your local game store today. All right, thank you very much for watching. This has been Pillar Nexus, Anti Gladiator, and we'll see you next time.